Chapter 7. She saw his motorcycle and thought it was Tracker as she emerged from the woods. Then she remembered when she had last set eyes on him. Tracker drove a Harley-Davidson and had given her a ride up to her home, not knowing that Robert was Sadia's father and that she was the young girl who had followed him around in high school and showed up at the movies when he had dates. "I wish the fuck they didn't look so much alike," Sadia said. "I could sleep with one of those impossibly handsome werewolf brothers and not realize it until it was too late. But I know my Tracker. He's the one with the bad attitude and attracts women like a moth to wool, and he's a foot taller than the rest," she thought. A mischievous smile washed across her face. She dropped her backpack and stepped on the newly paved road. When Sadia spotted Damon on his bike leaving the Samsa ranch, she knew it was time to follow him. He had a knapsack flung across his shoulder over his leather jacket, which signaled that he was leaving Samsaville for another destination. She stepped into the middle of the blacktop road as he rounded the corner, heading in the direction of the main gate. She stood there gazing at Damon as he came to a screeching stop, burning rubber to keep from crashing into her. "What are you doing standing in the road?" His voice was angry as he took off his helmet. "If you don't care about your safety, think about others. Don't you know you could get run over or worse, get chased down by our dogs?" he said, his tone mocking. He placed one boot down, not turning off the motor, but holding tight to the twist grips. "Your dogs are nothing but pussies. I've come through here many a night, and they never make a sound or bark. What kind of guard dogs do you have around here anyway? My miniature poodle could make more noise than them, and is probably meaner, and could give a bigger fight than that kennel of overfed, lazy bitches." Sadia didn't have a poodle, she was a cat person, but she wouldn't miss the chance to shame or humiliate Damon. She didn't particularly like him either, and he wasn't too fond of her. "We are werewolves. Nothing gets past us if we don't want them to. The dogs are pets, like you are for my brother Tracker." Sadia grimaced and lowered her head. Damon didn't like to spar with females. He thought they were to be treated delicately. But Sadia had embarrassed Tracker and had made him to look like a fool in his brother's eyes. A werewolf didn't take shame, pity, and humiliation easy. That brought out their baser instincts, and they would want to strike back, and Damon wanted to do to Sadia what Tracker couldn't do. However, Tracker had done enough to Sadia when he had walked away from her and refused to marry. "What are you doing on our property, anyway?" His brows furrowed and one eyebrow raised. "Looking for Tracker. You know he's not here. And anyway, I thought you got enough of him in high school, dissing you in front of his females, and choosing to date practically everyone except you. Shouldn't you have gotten the hint when he refused to marry you?" Damon's voice was sharp, his tone biting. "I haven't given up on him yet," she said, holding back a tear. "Then you're as silly as you were in high school. I don't think you should go around making fun of someone who's in love. Obviously you've never been, and for that I pity you. And I pity you the day a girl gets a hold on your cock and castrates you, then puts a collar and leash on you. You would look funny with one on you." Sadia slanted her head and glanced at him, as if picturing him with a collar on his neck. Then she forgot how she felt, and the thought of him with a retractable leash made her laugh. That wasn't a pretty picture Sadia painted for Damon. He frowned at the thought. What woman would be able to lead him around like a dog? He wouldn't let any get close enough to him to even think she could emasculate him. "No female would ever do that to me, because I don't plan on falling in love. No one plans on that. It just happens. That shows how cold and unfeeling you are, and out of touch with reality and life. You don't know how falling in love makes you feel alive and almost human. You can't go around hiding your feelings forever." Damon was becoming annoyed with Sadia. He raised both eyebrows, turned his head and said, "What is it you really want, Sadia? I wanted to talk to Thorn. I thought maybe he had come back with news about Tracker. Get it into your head that Tracker won't return, at least not soon. He found him a human female who's not deceitful like you, and he's off in Mexico someplace. Sadia stared at Damon. The edges of her mouth fell, and she passed her hand under her eyes quickly, so Damon couldn't see the tears well up and escape. When she had got control of both herself and her voice, she said, "How do you know, and where in Mexico is he?" Sadia questioned. Damon thought she was a joke, always trailing behind Tracker in school, and clearly he didn't want her. Why couldn't she get the message? He wasn't into war females. He liked humans, but even he wasn't that cruel to keep telling her, even if she deserved it. I don't know where he is. I'm going to look for him now. I'm headed to my father's cabin. If I see him, which I won't, I'll tell him you're looking for him. Damon made a gesture to put on his helmet. He needed to leave, if he expected to reach there before morning. The one I heard Tracker talk about? I know where that is. She smiled and said, he would promise the girls that he dated in school that he would take them there for the weekend. How do you know that? That's my secret, she said, looking up and smiling. I heard my father tell my mother about the cabin. Your father had it before he met Adrian. He promised to sell it, but he never did. You like keeping secrets if it's about your father, Lysel. My mother said she would burn it down if she thought my father kept a secret like that. Damon's eyes narrowed and his dark eyebrows met, and he said, It's not a secret, my mother knows about it now. And I'm not surprised that you war females would do something vicious and irrational like that. Look at the way you've been chasing down Tracker. He glared at Sadia. It takes a werewolf to calm a war female like you, Damon said coolly. And you're not the one, Sadia said. But Tracker is, Damon countered with a wry smile, making a small curve of his mouth to the right. I know Tracker, and I know what to do to him to calm him. Sadia gave Damon a wink. Damon frowned. I'm sure you would have to do a lot, and maybe that's why he deserted you. Damon saw the sadness in Sadia's eyes, and he didn't want to continue hurting her. Tracker had done that enough. I don't have time for this. I'm meeting Tracker at the cabin, and Thorn's there too, so don't go to the ranch looking for him. Is there anything you want me to tell him? I thought Tracker was in Mexico. Did I say Tracker? I meant Thorn. Sadia didn't know what to believe, but she had to go there anyway. She needed to find Tracker. Damon placed his helmet on his head and gunned the motorcycle, making a screeching noise as he turned down the winding road heading outside of the Samsa compound. Sadia stood watching him until he disappeared, and when he hit a sharp curve behind some trees, she ducked out of sight, walking into the brush. After changing her clothing, she placed her recurve takedown bow and arrows in her backpack and shifted into a werewolf. She thought traveling as a wolf was fast enough to beat Damon to Lysel's cabin in anticipation of having time with Tracker, because Damon had just given away that Tracker would be there. Tracker must still be at the cabin, Sadia thought. Maybe he isn't going to Mexico after all. Maybe I can change his mind. Sadia had one more trick she would use on Tracker. What did she have to lose? She had lost everything she wanted anyway. It would take much longer for Damon to reach the cabin. Although the motorcycle was fast, he had to watch the speed limits, which he never did. Sadia prayed Damon would get a speeding ticket. That would slow him down and give her time with Tracker. Damon didn't know then, but there would be a change of plans for him.